Noah Blackwell stood at the window of the space station, looking out at Earth below. The blue planet looked peaceful from up here, but Noah knew better. 6 months had passed since humanity had joined what they thought was the Galactic Coalition. 6 months since they learned the terrible truth. "Commander Blackwell, your presence is requested in meeting room 3, said a voice over the intercom. Noah sighed and straightened his uniform. As the leader of Earth's defense force, he had attended too many of these meetings lately. Each one brought worse news than the last. In the meeting room, 5 people sat around a table. Noah recognized Dr. Olivia Grant, the physicist whose energy projects had made headlines before the arrival of the aliens. Her dark hair was pulled back, and her eyes looked tired. "Commander, please join us," said the man at the head of the table. He wore the black and silver uniform of an Imperial official. His name was Drax, and he served as liaison between Earth and Emperor Zaxithalor. Noah took his seat without a word. "The Emperor requires increased resource shipments," Drax said. "Your mining operations must double production by next month." Lieutenant Ethan Martinez, Noah's second-in-command, spoke up. "That's impossible. We're already working at full capacity." Drax smiled, but his eyes remained cold. "Perhaps I should remind you what happened to the Centauri colony when they failed to meet quotas." The room fell silent. Everyone knew about Centauri. The once thriving human settlement was now empty, its people taken away to work in Imperial labor camps. "We'll find a way," Noah said finally. After the meeting, Noah caught up with Dr. Grant in the hallway. "Olivia, do you have a minute?" She nodded, and they walked to a small observation deck where they could speak privately. "Your Dyson sphere project," Noah said quietly. "The one the Emperor's sensors shut down. How close were you to a breakthrough?" Olivia looked surprised. "Very close, but why ask now? The Imperial directive was clear. All advanced energy research must be approved by Central Command." "Because I saw something yesterday." Noah checked to make sure they were alone. "I was on diplomatic duty visiting Proxima Station. There was a peaceful protest by the local population. They were just asking for more food rations." Olivia's face darkened. "What happened?" "Emperor Zaxithalor was there. Noah paused, the memory fresh and painful. "He ordered his guards to open fire. Hundreds died, including children. He watched, without any emotion, like he was observing insects." Olivia leaned against the wall. "I've heard stories from other systems, but to actually see it." "That's not all," Noah continued. "After the protest, I was approached by a group of Arcturians. They snuck me into their quarters and showed me something." He pulled out a small data device. "According to this, Earth isn't just another resource world to the Emperor. Our genetic makeup is special to him." Olivia took the device and scanned it quickly. Her face paled. "Harvesting? They plan to harvest humans for genetic material?" Noah nodded grimly. "The Arcturians say it's happened before. Worlds are developed until their population reaches optimal levels. Then the harvesting begins. They estimate we have less than 2 years." Olivia paced the small deck. "We can't fight them directly. Their fleet is too powerful. That's why I'm asking about your Dyson sphere. Could it provide enough energy to give us an advantage?" Olivia stopped pacing. "If completed, a Dyson sphere around our sun would generate more energy than the entire Imperial fleet combined, but the construction would be impossible to hide." "Unless we had help," Noah said. The next day, Noah visited his friend Ben Jackson. Ben worked as a translator for Imperial officials and had access to classified information. "You're asking me to commit treason against the Emperor," Ben said when Noah explained his request. They sat in Ben's small apartment, speaking in whispers, though Noah had already checked for listening devices. "I'm asking you to help save humanity," Noah replied. Ben looked at the pictures on his wall, his parents, his sister, and her kids. "What do you need?" "Technical specifications of Imperial energy systems. Dr. Grant thinks there might be a vulnerability we can exploit." 2 weeks later, Noah and Olivia met at an abandoned mining facility on the moon. Lieutenant Martinez stood guard outside. "It's worse than we thought," Olivia said, spreading out diagrams on the dusty table. According to Ben's data, the Emperor's ships are powered by an energy source similar to what my Dyson sphere would produce. It's how they achieve faster than light travel. So building it would just give them more power? Noah asked. Not necessarily. Olivia pointed to a complex equation. Their systems can't handle energy surges beyond certain levels. A properly modified Dyson sphere could potentially overwhelm and disable their technology. How long would it take to build? With proper resources and secrecy? 2 years minimum. Noah frowned. That's cutting it close. I've been thinking about that too, Olivia said. We can't build it here in Earth orbit, too visible. But Mercury, its proximity to the sun would be ideal, and Imperial patrols there are minimal. We would need a team we can trust completely, Noah said. I know just the person to handle the computer systems, Olivia replied. Lana Chen. She worked with me before the Imperial ban. And we'll need someone in the Imperial government who can help divert attention away from Mercury. Governor Powell. Fight help, Noah suggested. She's Earthborn and has shown signs of resenting Imperial policy. Their planning was interrupted when Martinez rushed in. Commander, Imperial patrol approaching, 2 minutes out. They quickly gathered their materials. If we do this, there's no going back, Olivia said. Noah looked at her with determination. Humanity never asked to join this empire, but we might be the ones to bring it down. As they left the facility, Noah saw an Imperial cruiser passing overhead, its dark hull blocking the stars. Somewhere out there, Emperor Zax Thalor sat on his throne, ruling over hundreds of subjugated worlds, unaware that on a small blue planet, the seeds of his downfall were being planted. The next day, Noah stood before a small group of trusted officers and scientists in a secure underground facility. What I'm about to propose is treason by Imperial standards, he began. But loyalty to humanity demands action. Dr. Olivia Grant stepped forward with her plans, and Operation Dyson Dawn was born. Anew, the Imperial capital world, Emperor Zax Thalor received his daily report on Earth. The humans continue to adapt well to Imperial rule, read his advisor. All resistance has been minimal and unorganized. The Emperor nodded with satisfaction. Excellent. They will make fine additions to our genetic program when the time comes. Neither the Emperor nor his advisors noticed the small increase in shipments to Mercury, nor the subtle changes in Earth's communication patterns. By the time they would realize what was happening, it would be too late. 3 months passed since Noah and Olivia started their secret plan. The hidden base on Mercury grew slowly but steadily. Small groups of trusted workers arrived each week, disguised as mining crews. The hot, barren planet made a good hiding place for their project. Admiral Victor Hayes stood with his arms crossed, watching the construction through the base's thick windows. He had only joined the resistance last month after seeing Imperial soldiers take away his nephew for questioning. Still think this is a fool's errand? Noah asked, stepping up beside him. I think it's our only hope, Victor replied. But that doesn't make it any less dangerous. Outside, massive machines were assembling the first components of the Dyson sphere. Even these small pieces dwarfed the workers around them. When complete, the structure would surround much of the sun, capturing its energy. Lana needs to see you in the control room, Victor said. Something about the computer systems. Noah found Lana Chen hunched over a console, fingers flying across the keyboard. Of all the people working on the project, she was perhaps the most valuable after Olivia. Her genius with computers had already saved them from discovery twice. What's the problem? Noah asked. Lana didn't look up. Imperial scan is scheduled for this sector tomorrow. Their sensors will detect our energy signature unless we mask it. Can you hide us? Maybe. She pointed to a complex diagram on her screen. I'm working on an algorithm that will make our power readings look like natural solar flares, but I need more time. How much? 12 hours minimum. Noah checked his watch. That gives us a 6-hour window before the scan. Keep working. I'll talk to Governor Powell, see if she can delay the Imperial ships. Back on Earth, Kate Powell sat in her large office, surrounded by Imperial flags and symbols. As Earth's Imperial appointed governor, she walked a dangerous line. Openly, she supported the Emperor. Secretly, she passed information to the Resistance. Her intercom buzzed. "Commander Blackwell to see you, Governor." "Send him in," she said. Noah entered and waited until the door closed. "We need your help. Imperial scan of Mercury sector tomorrow." Kate frowned. "I can't just cancel an official scan." "We don't need a cancellation," Noah said. "Just a delay. 6 hours would be enough." Kate thought for a moment. "There's a minor asteroid cluster passing near Mars. I could request additional scans there, claim I'm concerned about impact trajectories." Would they believe that? With the right data to back it up, yes. She smiled slightly. Data that Lana could provide, perhaps? Noah nodded. "I'll have her send you what you need." As Noah left the governor's office, he almost collided with Ben Jackson. His friend looked nervous, constantly glancing over his shoulder. "Ben? What are you doing here?" "We need to talk," Ben whispered. "Not here." They found a quiet corner in a nearby park. Despite the beautiful day, Ben's face was grim. "The Emperor is coming," he said without preamble. Noah felt his blood run cold. "To Earth? When?" 3 months from now. He's making a tour of the newly acquired systems. Earth will be his final stop. Why? We've been model citizens on the surface. Ben shook his head. "I don't know, but his personal battleship is already being prepared, and Noah..." He paused. "He's bringing his genetic specialists." Noah understood the implication. The timeline had moved up. The harvesting of humans might begin sooner than they thought. "We need to accelerate the project," Noah said. "Is there anything else I should know?" "One more thing. The Emperor's species has an unusual reaction to certain energy frequencies. It came up in a classified report I translated. Something about their evolutionary history makes them sensitive to the exact type of energy your Dyson sphere would produce." This was valuable information. Noah thanked his friend and hurried back to the hidden transport that would take him to Mercury. At the Mercury base, Olivia was arguing with Chief Engineer Frank Lewis. A stocky man with calloused hands, Frank had decades of experience building space structures. "It can't be done any faster," Frank insisted. "We're already pushing the materials beyond safe limits." "We don't have a choice," Olivia replied. "We just got word the Emperor is coming in 3 months." Frank ran a hand through his gray hair. "The smallest mistake could cause catastrophic failure, or worse, alert the Imperial forces to what we're doing." Noah stepped in. "Frank, what if you had more workers? Could that help?" The engineer considered this. "Maybe, if they're skilled. But where would we get them? Everyone we can trust is already here." "Not everyone," said a new voice. They turned to see Major Samantha Riley standing in the doorway. The Special Forces leader had brought 20 of her best people with her to protect the project. "My team can be trained," she said. "We're quick learners." Frank looked doubtful. "No offense, Major, but building a Dyson sphere isn't like field stripping a weapon." "Try us," she challenged. 2 weeks later, the project had indeed accelerated. Samantha's team proved surprisingly adept at construction work. Their military precision and physical stamina made them excellent workers. Meanwhile, Lana's algorithm successfully fooled the Imperial scan. The Mercury base remained undetected, but their luck couldn't last forever. One evening, as Noah was reviewing progress reports, Admiral Hayes burst into his office. "We have a problem," Victor said. "An Imperial probe just changed course. It's heading directly for our construction zone." Noah contacted Samantha immediately. "How fast can you hide the external components?" "Not fast enough," she replied. "The larger pieces would take hours to move." "Then we have to destroy the probe," Noah decided. "Make it look like an accident." Victor shook his head. "If an Imperial probe goes missing, they'll send a full investigation team." "Not if they think it was destroyed by a solar flare," Lana said, joining the conversation. "I can amplify our energy masking program, make it look like a massive eruption hit that exact spot." They put the plan into action. The probe approached, its sensors sweeping the area. Just as it was about to detect the Dyson sphere components, Lana activated her program. From Earth, it would appear that a sudden, powerful solar flare had erupted, destroying the probe instantly. The plan worked, but it was too close a call. They needed better protection against Imperial detection. That night, Noah called a meeting of all project leaders. "We've been lucky so far, but luck runs out. We need a more permanent solution to hide our work." Professor Alan Murphy, an expert in alien archaeology, spoke up. "I may have found something that could help." He laid out ancient diagrams on the table. These show technology used by civilizations that existed before the Emperor's species rose to power, including some early attempts at Dyson sphere construction. Olivia studied the diagrams with growing excitement. "This changes everything. According to these, we don't need to completely surround the sun. A partial structure properly positioned would be enough." "Enough for what?" Noah asked. "Enough to generate the energy we need," Olivia said, "and much harder to detect from a distance." New hope spread through the resistance team. As the meeting ended, Noah looked around at the determined faces. Earth's fate rested on their shoulders, but for the first time, he truly believed they might succeed. On his Imperial battleship light years away, Emperor Zax the Lore studied reports from the Sol system. Something about the humans intrigued him. Their quick adaptation to Imperial rule seemed almost too perfect. "Keep closer watch. On Earth," he ordered his commander. "There's something about these humans I don't trust." The Dyson Sphere project reached 30% completion as the 6th month began. The structure now formed a partial ring around the sun, visible only from Mercury's vantage point. From other planets, clever positioning kept it hidden behind the sun's glare. Professor Alan Murphy sat in his cramped office, surrounded by ancient texts and artifacts. His discovery of the partial sphere design had saved them months of work, but he felt uneasy. Something about the old records troubled him. Olivia entered, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "You look worried, Alan." He accepted the coffee gratefully. "I've been translating more of the ancient records, the species that attempted Dyson spheres before us. They all disappeared." "Civilizations rise and fall," Olivia said. "That's history." Alan shook his head. "Not like this. There's a pattern. Each civilization began Dyson construction, then suddenly vanished before completion. No war, no disease, just gone." Olivia frowned. "You think the Emperor's species had something to do with it?" "I think they feared the technology." He pointed to a symbol that appeared repeatedly in the texts. "This represents great fear or terror in the ancient language. It appears whenever they mention the reaction of dominant species to Dyson technology." Their conversation was interrupted when Noah entered. "We have a visitor," he said quietly. "Ambassador Gregory White is here." This was unexpected. As Earth's representative to the Imperial Court, Gregory walked in the highest circles of power. His presence at the secret base could mean trouble. They found Gregory in the main conference room, looking out at the partial Dyson ring. He turned as they entered. "Impressive," he said simply. "Much further along than I expected." "How did you find us?" Noah asked, hand resting near his weapon. Gregory smiled. "Governor Powell didn't tell you. I've been part of the resistance since the beginning. I just couldn't risk direct contact until now." "Why now?" Olivia asked. "Because the Emperor has moved up his timetable. He'll arrive in 6 weeks, not 3 months. Gregory's expression darkened. "And he's bringing 3 harvester ships." The room fell silent. Harvester ships were designed for one purpose: to process large populations for their genetic material. "We need more time," Olivia said. "The sphere is nowhere near operational capacity." Chief Engineer Frank Lewis had been listening from the doorway. "Maybe there's a way," he said, stepping forward. "I've been working on construction drones that could work continuously without rest." "How many do you have?" Noah asked. "Only 5 prototypes now, but with the right materials I could build 50 more." Gregory nodded. "I can arrange for the materials. The Imperial Court is planning a celebration for the Emperor's arrival. No one will notice if some resources go missing in the preparations." Major Samantha Riley joined them, her uniform dusty from supervising the outer ring construction. Even with drones, we need more security. Imperial patrols have increased throughout the system. I have people who can help with that too, Gregory said. Not humans. Allies from other subjugated worlds who have been waiting for a chance to strike back. Noah considered their options. More help meant more risk of discovery, but without it, they would never finish in time. Do it, he decided. Bring in your allies, get Frank his materials, but screen everyone carefully. Over the next 2 weeks, the project transformed. Frank's construction drones worked around the clock, assembling components at 3 times the previous rate. Gregory's alien allies, mostly Arcturians and Proxians, proved to be skilled workers and loyal to the cause. The Dyson sphere grew rapidly, now nearly 40% complete, but the increased activity didn't go unnoticed. Noah was meeting with Admiral Hayes when the alarm sounded. "Imperial patrol ship approaching," came Lana's voice over the intercom. 2 minutes to sensor range. Victor rushed to the command center with Noah close behind. "Options?" he asked. Lana's fingers flew across her console. "They're on a standard patrol route, not looking for us specifically. I can mask our energy signature, but not the physical structure. If they change course even slightly, they'll see it." "Evacuate the outer rings," Noah ordered. "All personnel to the shadow side." Workers scrambled to move behind the bulk of Mercury, away from the approaching ship. Construction drones were powered down and hidden. For 10 tense minutes, everyone held their breath as the Imperial ship passed by. "They're continuing on course," Lana finally announced. "No indication they spotted us." Noah exhaled slowly. "That was too close. We need better early warning." "I might have something that can help," said Frank. He led Noah to his workshop where a strange device sat on his workbench. "I've been adapting Imperial sensor technology. This can detect their ships before they enter the solar system." "Will it work?" "In theory, but I need someone with deep knowledge of Imperial systems to fine-tune it." "I know just the person," Noah said. The next day, Ben arrived on Mercury. The translator looked nervous about being so directly involved, but his expertise with Imperial technology proved invaluable. Within hours, he had the early warning system operational. "This will give you at least 12 hours notice before any Imperial ship enters the system," Ben explained. "But Noah, there's something else you should know. The Emperor isn't just coming to harvest Earth. He's heard rumors of unusual activity in this system." "They know about the Dyson sphere?" Noah asked, alarmed. "Not specifically, but he senses something is happening here. He's become obsessed with Earth. In private council meetings, he speaks of humans with unusual interest." This was disturbing news. If the Emperor already suspected something, they had even less time than they thought. Back in the main construction area, Olivia made a breakthrough. She called Noah and the other project leaders to her lab, excitement evident in her voice. "I've solved the energy containment problem," she announced. "We don't need to wait until the sphere is 50% complete. We can activate at 45%. "When will we reach that point?" Noah asked. Frank checked his calculations. "At current rate, with all drones operating, 3 days before the Emperor arrives." "That's cutting it close," Samantha said. "Too close," agreed Victor. "Any delay would be catastrophic." Noah looked at each of them. "Then we make sure there are no delays. Double-check everything. Triple security shifts. No one sleeps until this is done." As the meeting ended, Olivia pulled Noah aside. "There's something I didn't want to say in front of the others," she whispered. "The energy output will be even greater than I originally calculated. If it works as designed, we won't just disable the Imperial fleet. We'll have the most powerful weapon in the galaxy." "And if it doesn't work as designed?" Noah asked. Olivia's expression was grave. "Then we might destabilize the sun. Mercury would be destroyed instantly. Earth would have hours at most." Noah absorbed this in silence. The stakes had just gotten even higher. On the Imperial capital world, Emperor Zax Thalor stood before a massive view screen showing the Sol system. Something about these humans troubled him deeply. They reminded him of stories from his youth, tales of ancient enemies who harnessed the power of stars. "Set course for Earth," he commanded his fleet, "and prepare the harvesters. I want to personally oversee this operation." As his massive battleship departed, the Emperor felt an unfamiliar sensation, a faint tingle of fear. Absurd, he told himself. What could primitives possibly do against the might of his empire? Yet the feeling persisted, a shadow at the edge of his consciousness that would not fade. 2 weeks remained until Emperor Zaxthaler's arrival. The Dyson sphere now reached 40% completion, growing larger every day. The once small Mercury base had expanded into a bustling complex housing over 500 workers. Director Patricia Moore arrived from Earth with troubling news. As the head of intelligence for the Resistance, she had sources throughout the solar system. "The Emperor's fleet has entered the outer reaches," she reported during the emergency meeting. 7 battle cruisers, 3 harvester ships, and dozens of smaller vessels. Noah looked at the assembled project leaders. "How long until they reach Earth?" 10 days at their current speed, Patricia answered. "But that's not all. They've deployed scout ships ahead of the main fleet. They're specifically scanning for unusual energy signatures." Lana spoke up. "I can mask our energy output, but not indefinitely. Each time we add new sections to the sphere, the signature spikes." Admiral Hayes studied the fleet deployment map. "If they follow standard Imperial protocol, they'll establish a perimeter around the system before the Emperor's ship enters. We'll be surrounded." The mood in the room darkened. Even with their early warning system, they couldn't hide forever. "What's our completion percentage?" Noah asked. Frank checked his tablet. 42% now. We'll hit the minimum activation threshold of 45% in approximately 8 days. That gives us 2 days before the fleet arrives, Samantha calculated. Not much margin for error. "Can we evacuate non-essential personnel?" asked Noah. Victor shook his head. "Too risky. Any ships leaving Mercury now would draw attention." "Then, we need more help," Noah decided. "Olivia, how many more people do you need to guarantee completion in 8 days?" "At least 50 more skilled technicians," she answered without hesitation. Noah turned to Gregory. "Your alien contacts, can they provide more workers?" The ambassador nodded. "The Arcturians have been preparing for this. They can have people here in 36 hours. "Do it," Noah ordered. As the others left to implement the new plans, Dr. Henry Davis remained behind. The medical officer had kept mostly quiet during the meeting, but now he approached Noah with concern. "Commander, I need to speak with you about the radiation levels," he said. "The workers on the outer rings are being exposed to dangerous levels from the sun. Our shields can't keep up with the construction pace." "How bad is it?" Noah asked. "Bad enough that I've had to treat 20 cases of radiation sickness in the past week. If we keep pushing at this pace, people will start dying." Noah rubbed his tired eyes. "Can you develop stronger protection?" "I've been working on an improved radiation shield," Henry said. "But it needs more testing." "We don't have time for testing. If it works in theory, distribute it immediately." The next few days passed in a blur of activity. The Arcturian reinforcements arrived, bringing their advanced technical skills to the project. Dr. Davis's new radiation shields proved effective, allowing work to continue around the clock. The Dyson sphere grew steadily, reaching 44% completion. Meanwhile, diplomat Ryan Clark worked tirelessly from his position on Europa, Jupiter's moon. As the Resistance's chief negotiator with other species, he had spent months building alliances. 7 civilizations have agreed to rise up once the Dyson sphere is activated, he reported via secure channel. The Arcturians, Proxians, Centauri, survivors, Europa colonists, Titan miners, Callisto refugees, and even some Rigelians. The Rigelians? Noah was surprised. "I thought they were loyal to the Empire." "Only publicly," Ryan explained. "In private, they've suffered as much as anyone. They've been waiting for a chance to break free. This was welcome news. Earth wouldn't stand alone against the Empire." On the outer construction ring, Captain Lisa Wright supervised the installation of the crucial energy collectors. These devices would capture and channel the sun's power once the sphere activated. How's the prototype performing? Noah asked during his inspection tour. Lisa pointed to the data on her screen. Energy conversion rate is 97%, better than we hoped. And the distribution system? Ready to deploy. Once activated, we can direct energy pulses with precise targeting. Lisa hesitated. Noah, you should know. At full capacity, this system could destroy planets. Noah looked out at the massive structure they had built. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Back on Earth, preparations of a different kind were underway. General Peter Scott coordinated the planet's ground defenses, knowing they might face Imperial landing parties. All major population centers have underground shelters, he reported to Noah via secure channel. But our weapons won't hold off Imperial troops for long. They don't need to, Noah replied. Just long enough for us to activate the sphere. The early warning system beeped, interrupting their conversation. Imperial scout ships had changed course, moving inward faster than expected. They're heading directly for Mercury's orbit, Lana announced, her voice tense. Arrival in 6 hours. Noah called an emergency meeting. We need to accelerate the final phase. Can we activate at 44%? Olivia shook her head. Too risky. The energy containment might fail. What about a partial activation? Frank suggested. Just enough to create a distraction while we finish the last components. Olivia considered this. It might work, but we'd need someone to manually calibrate the energy flow from the central hub. The automated systems aren't ready. I'll do it, offered Julia Baker, a quiet engineer who had worked closely with Olivia from the beginning. Noah looked at each of them. This is our last chance. If those scout ships detect us before activation, the Emperor will bring his entire fleet here immediately. Then we'd better not fail, Julia said simply. As the Imperial scout ships approached, the Resistance put their desperate plan into action. Julia took a small shuttle to the central hub of the Dyson sphere, a dangerous journey through open space that left her exposed to both solar radiation and potential detection. Meanwhile, all available workers rushed to complete the final sections needed to reach 45%. Even Admiral Hayes and Ambassador Gregory joined the construction teams, working alongside engineers and technicians. In orbit around Jupiter, the Imperial scouts paused to scan the inner system. Their sensors swept past Mercury, detected nothing unusual on the first pass, and continued toward Venus. They missed us, Lana reported, relief evident in her voice. The masking field worked, but their relief was short-lived. One of the scout ships suddenly changed course, turning back toward Mercury. They're coming back, Lana warned. Something caught their attention. Inside the central hub, Julia worked frantically to prepare the manual activation sequence. I need 10 more minutes, she radioed. You may not have 10 minutes, Noah replied grimly. Imperial scout approaching rapidly. On his flagship at the edge of the solar system, Emperor Zaxthalor felt that strange sensation again. A prickling fear that grew stronger as they approached Earth. Something was wrong. Something was happening that his advisors couldn't detect. Send the entire fleet toward the inner system, he suddenly ordered. Maximum speed. His commander looked confused. But sire, the scouts haven't reported any threats. Do it now, the Emperor snapped, a hint of panic in his usually controlled voice. As the massive Imperial fleet began to move, Noah watched the completion percentage of the Dyson sphere tick, upward 44.5%, 44.6%, 44.7%. Come on, he whispered. Just a little more time. The Imperial scout ship moved closer to Mercury, its sensors probing the space around the small planet. They've detected something, Lana reported, her voice tight with tension. They're sending a signal to the main fleet. Noah turned to Admiral Hayes. How long until they can confirm what we're building? Minutes, maybe less, Victor replied. Their advanced sensors will cut through our masking field once they're close enough. On the main screen, the Dyson sphere completion percentage showed 44.9%. So close, yet not enough. Julia, status report, Noah called through the communication system. Inside the central hub of the Dyson sphere, Julia worked frantically at the control panels. Sweat beaded on her forehead as she manually adjusted the energy calibration settings. Almost ready for partial activation, she answered. But Noah, there's a problem. The energy intake is fluctuating. I can't stabilize it remotely. Olivia grabbed a microphone. Julia, you need to bypass the tertiary power couplings. Reroute through the emergency system. That could overload the containment field, Frank warned. It's our only option, Olivia insisted. Noah made a quick decision. Do it, Julia, we're out of time. The scout ship was now close enough to visually identify the massive structure partially surrounding the sun. Its commander stared in disbelief at the readings. Alert the Emperor immediately, he ordered. The humans have built a Dyson sphere. On Earth, the news arrived that Imperial ships had entered orbit. Governor Powell sent an urgent message to Noah. The Emperor's flagship has arrived ahead of schedule. Harvester ships are moving into position. We have less than an hour before they begin landing troops. General Scott activated Earth's defense systems. They were woefully inadequate against Imperial technology, but they might buy some time. In D. Space, Grand Admiral Elizabeth Stone commanded Earth's small fleet of hastily converted ships. All vessels, defensive positions, she ordered. Protect the civilian evacuation ships at all costs. The Imperial fleet vastly outnumbered and outgunned them. It would be a slaughter, but every minute they could delay the Empire might be enough for the Dyson sphere to activate. On Mercury, Noah watched as the completion percentage finally ticked over to 45%. We've reached minimum threshold, Frank announced. Julia, begin partial activation sequence, Noah ordered. In the central hub, Julia initiated the sequence. The massive structure hummed with energy as it began capturing the sun's power. Lights flickered throughout the Mercury base as power was diverted to the activation process. Energy collection at 20% capacity, Julia reported. 30, 40. The Imperial scout ship commander watched in horror as the Dyson sphere began to glow. He immediately ordered his ship to retreat, but it was too late. 50% capacity, Julia continued. System stable, proceeding to 60. On the Imperial flagship, Emperor Zaxathalar felt a wave of primal fear wash over him. The strange sensation he had been feeling grew into full-blown panic as his officers reported the Dyson sphere's activation. Impossible, he whispered, staring at the images on the screen. They can't have mastered Dyson technology. His science. Officer looked confused. Sire, it's just an energy collection system. No, the Emperor screamed, losing his composure completely. You don't understand what that technology can do. Energy collection at 70%, Julia reported from the hub. Containment field holding. Noah turned to Olivia. Prepare the targeting system. Focus on the Imperial flagship first. Targeting system online, Olivia confirmed. But Noah, at this power level, we could destroy it completely, kill everyone on board. Noah hesitated. Their goal was freedom, not massacre. Target their propulsion systems only. Disable, don't destroy. On Earth, the first Imperial troops began landing near major cities. General Scott's forces engaged them, fighting bravely despite being outmatched. We can't hold them back much longer, he reported to Noah. In orbit, Admiral Stone's ships were being destroyed one by one. Half our fleet is gone, she reported grimly. We've lost the outer defense perimeter. Just a little longer, Noah urged. The Dyson sphere is almost ready. Energy collection at 90%, Julia announced. Ready for primary function. Noah took a deep breath. Initiate energy pulse, target Imperial flagship propulsion systems. In the central hub, Julia activated the final sequence. The Dyson sphere glowed brightly as it channeled the sun's energy into a focused beam. The beam shot across space, striking the Emperor's flagship with pinpoint accuracy. The massive ship shuddered, its engines failing immediately. Throughout the Imperial fleet, systems began to fail as the energy pulse created cascading disruptions in their technology. On his bridge, Emperor Zaxathalar stared at the Dyson sphere in absolute terror. His species had ancient memories, passed down through genetic code of similar weapons that had nearly destroyed their ancestors eons ago. Retreat, he ordered, his voice shaking. All ships retreat immediately. His officers were shocked. But sire, it's just one disabled system. We can still harvest the humans. Obey me, the Emperor screamed. That weapon can destroy us all. As the Imperial fleet scrambled to retreat, Noah ordered another energy pulse. This one was broader, affecting all Imperial ships in Earth orbit. Throughout the solar system, the subjugated species received the signal they had been waiting for. On Europa, Titan, and colonies throughout the system, they rose up against their Imperial overseers. It's working, Noah said in amazement. The Empire is falling back. On the command ship, Emperor Zax Thaler ordered his personal escape vessel, prepared. I won't stay in this system a moment longer, he told his commanders. Follow me or die here. The Emperor's retreat became a rout. Imperial ships fled in disorder, abandoning their ground forces on Earth. Within hours, the invasion had collapsed completely. In the central hub, Julia monitored the Dyson sphere's systems. Energy capacity stable at 95%, she reported. We could go higher. No need, Noah replied. This is enough to secure our freedom. 2 days later, Noah stood with Olivia, Admiral Hayes, and the other resistance leaders on the ER observation deck looking out at their creation. The Dyson sphere glowed softly as it orbited the sun, now a symbol of human ingenuity and determination. What now? Victor asked. The Emperor will return with a larger fleet. Perhaps, Noah said. But we'll be ready. And we're not alone anymore. On screen, reports came in from across the galaxy. Other subjugated worlds, inspired by Earth's success, were rising up against Imperial rule. The Arcturians, Proxians, and 5 other species had declared their independence. We should form an alliance, Olivia suggested. Share the Dyson technology with worlds we trust. Noah nodded. Not as conquerors, but as equals. As they discussed the future, a message arrived. From the edge of the solar system, it was from Ambassador Gregory, who had been monitoring Imperial communications. The Emperor has fled beyond the galactic rim, he reported. His fleet is in disarray, with many ships refusing to follow him. The Empire is collapsing. Noah looked out at the stars. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy was free from tyranny, and it had begun with human determination and a star-spanning machine that had turned fear against the fearmonger. We have a lot of work ahead, he told his friends. A galaxy to rebuild. On worlds across the galaxy, people looked up at their night skies and saw a new light appear, the distant glow of Earth's Dyson sphere, a beacon of hope in the darkness, and a reminder that even the mightiest tyrant could be toppled by the will to be free.